Yep.
All join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
This is where you see.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming to the May board meeting. I can't believe it's May. And pretty soon it's going to be warm.
Today's picture perfect today.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Okay. First on the agenda, Ken.
I would like to happily introduce Jenna McDermott. She is our new office manager. I went through and interviewed several ladies, and she fit the mold, just the perfect person we're looking for. So welcome Jenna McDermott, and she's getting herself broke into doing minutes tonight.
May the fun begin.
We hope it stays fun. We're going to try our best to make sure that happens. Okay, moving right to the announcements. Clear Creek Conservancy, Dwayne Kelly, you're on.
Dwayne Kelly, 282 Patriots Landing. I don't have anything to report. We're still waiting on the engineering results and the quote or estimate on what it would cost to do it. So, you know, we don't have anything to report except that a year ago they gave us an overview and said it would be $4.9 million. So I personally am saying by the time we get into it, it'll be $6 million at least when way stuff's gone up. And one of the other concerns is, and we've talked about, you know, are we going to be able to get material? Are we going to be able to get the piping? Are we going to be able to get the pumps? Are we going to be able to get all the metal material we need? Concrete, I don't think will be any problem. But who knows whether, you know, what parts will be available by the time we go out for bids.
Thank you, Dwayne. Okay, Floyd Township Fire Department, Jeff Brooks, you have anything?
Jeff Brooks, Floyd Township Fire Department. Quick report on the runs. We had 18 runs in April. A slow month. Everybody's happy about slow months. 14 were medical runs. The remainder were a mix of lift assist and lift assist and a couple of fires. I've got with me Lieutenant Bob Strakowski. We were fortunate enough to be able to purchase a piece of equipment that actually will benefit 20% of the runs at our lake, and those are lift assist. Some lift assist, we don't need assistance, but some lift assist, we need lots of assistance. So I want to have Bob go up there and pass out in front of Ken. Show me your badge, kids. So we get a call out for a lift assist. First thing we're going to do is we're going to assess the patient, make sure the patient has no injuries, find out if they busted their head or anything like that. And then I'm going to tell the guys, make sure you bring in Tammy. Now, Tammy is the new tool we've got. It consists of a compressor, a set of hoses, and we usually hit the patients with them. That's always planned. And then this cushion system. The way Tammy works, you can see this is Tammy. These are stabilizer bars. There are actually some additional bars we have we can use for stretchers to lift something. I'll talk about that in just a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, Mr. Patient, nothing's hurt, you're good.
Yep.
We're going to roll them over. Roll them over. Slide this up underneath them, then roll them back to position. This piece of equipment has a lift rating of 980 pounds. And one guy can do 980 pounds, and as frequently happens with volunteer departments, we may only have 2 or 3 guys. Sometimes we only have 1 guy. So this allows, I've used it myself on runs by myself. Bob and I have been on a couple of runs with it as well. So now we've got the bags hooked up, the hose is hooked up to the bag. This will hook right up here. It also can be plugged into the wall. It's battery operated. Battery's good. So now I've got power up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set the patient up. See, Bob was cheating here. He knows what I'm supposed to do next. So what I'll do is stand behind the patient to stabilize the bag so it doesn't kick out. We like to ask the patient to cross their arms. It'll automatically stop when the first bag's full. Now it is firefighter proof because now you don't have to do it. You can see it's lifting Bob up. And then once the patient gets lined up that's comfortable for them to bend their knees and put their feet in front, we'll ask them to do that as well. Bob's actually not too tall to go on the grade. We like to go ahead and take it up to 4. So you want to get in a position where you're going to stand up. And he's not going to listen to my commands. So now, which is pretty rare. So now, what we would do is, I can just lift him by an elbow and raise him up. And now, if there's a walker there, he can use that steady self, pull the chair up, the table up, something like that. And that is what Tammy does. And we carry it to rescue. And we also have let other departments know in the community that we do have that. Because sometimes we'll get some larger patients. The stabilizer bars I mentioned at this position right here, this is stretcher height. So if we have a large patient who's on a backboard, we can actually lift them up with this to stretcher height and just slide them all over. It's going to save the backs, the arms, the shoulders of firefighters, as well as we don't have to pull his arm out of socket lifting him up. And we also don't have to, a lot of times we'll do a sheet and we'll slide a sheet underneath somebody, lift them up. If you don't get the sheet right, we've had people slide up underneath the sheet.
And if you're ever in tight quarters, that thing's worth its weight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Ken and I and Bob and 2 other firefighters, probably 3 1/4, 3 1/2 in a bathroom that's probably not bigger than the top one end table, that was a small one. And he didn't want to stand up either. He didn't want us to help him. We were able to get him lifted up. I think we drug him out of the building, drug him out of the room, so.
You had to drag him out of the bathroom first.
So that's what Tammy does. That's, we named it that because a resident out here asked if she could donate every bit of the money for it, which we didn't let her. But we will always take donations.
Safe, easy way to pick somebody up when you're down.
It's all about the patient integrity, patient comfort, and keeping from hurting firefighters too.
I just thought it was very important that the community knew that the fire department had an apparatus like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I've also got, I've talked about these vital medical information packets. I've got 10 of them laying here. If you want to take one and tell you how to fill them out inside of it, what I would ask is if you send me, and I'm giving anybody one who wants one right now, again, what it has in that is your medical list, medical conditions, your last end-of-life wishes, your emergency contact information, your doctor list, all those kind of things are in here. There is a sticker Unless all the kids that come to the fire department have took them all. It's in here, there it is. The Red Cross sticker. Stick this on your door. Ooh, there's two in here. Stick this on your window in front of your house, stick it on your door. That way when first responders show up, we know you have one of these. So we can go right to the refrigerator. We're going to step over you and go to the refrigerator. No, we're not. We're going to check you out first. Then we're going to go and get the information that we may need. EMTs also know to look for them. And I just asked, contact me or the fire department and give us an address if you take one, because we send those addresses back to PCEMS, and that's how they get their grant money for them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Neighborhood watch, anybody?
Yeah, I did ask April for a report, and I told her that I was going to report that April's in stealth mode. All of her information is highly classified at this time, and she has no report.
Okay. Stealth mode. I'll ask her tomorrow what that means. Okay, HLCS, Rick Miller.
The only thing I have to report is the May issue is wildly popular. It's hard to keep it in stock. I need to print a fourth time already this month. So that's a happy problem.
Thank you, Rick. Helnack, anybody have anything for?
Yeah, I don't know, does Dennis have anything? Jan Sully, 65 Gettysburg. We just finished last week 3 days of our garage sale and food concessions downstairs. We did really well. So we had more than $1,000 go to Helnack and $1,000 to go to Heritage Lake Scholarships, which is awesome. I'm going to thank everybody who donated any materials, any food. We had several food donations, which really helped us out. I even want to thank Paul for his bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Our donor for our pork barbecue had COVID, and so she forgot to give us that. So we were desperate for pork barbecue, but anyway, we're hoping we can do the fall sale again to benefit both Helnack and Heritage Lake Scholarships. So we're really pleased about that. We have a couple of other ideas in the works that are not for sure, so I really don't want to say much about them, but the Boat Poker Run, our annual event, is scheduled for Saturday, August 13th. Saturday, August 13th. Anybody have any questions for us for Helnack?
Thank you, Jan,
You're welcome.
and thanks for all the work you do for that garage sale. POA security?
I'll give it for Brian. There's 3 trespassing calls, 1 animal bite, 3 suspicious persons, 1 accident with injury. There was an OWI arrest out of that, 1 alarm, 1 missing subject was located and they were safe, 11 traffic stops, 1 narcotic complaint, 1 criminal mischief, 1 warrant service, 1 animal complaint, 3 lockout, 1 theft, 2 harassment, 2 fraud, 1 domestic, 1 child custody issue, 1 psychiatric issue, for a total of 37 calls of service. That's it.
Thank you. Garden Club, don't see anybody here for that. They're starting to roll. I know my neighbor's out there playing in the mud, so it's starting to happen. All right, presentation of agenda. I don't have any additions. Presentation of minutes, April 11th, board meeting. I'll take a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. April 25th, operations meeting.
Motion.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Thank you. Treasurer's report.
Ooh, that's me. Treasurer's report. May 9th. The accrued income for April was
226,024. Total expenses were 146,549, leaving a net income balance of a positive 79,475. Let's see. From that, we spent $27,129 for the purchase of 2 beautiful brand new lawnmowers from that income balance. The accrued income for year to date is $500,624. Total expenses year to date are $421,734, leaving year to date balance in the positive of $78,890. As of May 9th, our short-term cash checking account, or short-term cash, AKA your checking account, is $766,557, and total of CDs, money markets, and investments are $209,306, totaling a grand total of $975,836 year to date. Respectfully submitted.
All right, thank you. The office is working daily on bringing everything up to date. Probably gonna be another, what would you say, Jenna, maybe another month before we're probably up to date. Right now, we're a little bit backlogged for obvious reasons, but it doesn't keep the money from going to the bank. Every penny coming in is going to the bank. All right. Thank you, AJ. Board committee reports. John Reedy, A&E.
I distributed my report to everybody, so they have a copy. And you can see we had a fairly brisk month in April with 13 houses, 2 garages, 3 fences, 2 new docks, 3 docks with lift, a deck, a boat lift, a jet ski lift, 2 gazebos, and a porch enclosures for a total of 29. You can see the year-to-date through 4 months. Right now, standing at 71 approvals. Thing to note is we're averaging so far, and I know averages can go down, about 7 homes per month. So, the only other business we had is we had some discussion about MS 254, which is at stop 3 in Heritage Lake Drive. There was an issue with that. We had to do a stop work order on the house till it was resolved. It got resolved and has been corrected, and approval was given to continue building. And JV 92, which we've been talking about, and we'll talk about some more later. But there seems to be a problem with their project, so we'll be discussing about that later.
Thank you, John.
That's all we got. Oh, and the other thing, probably the most important thing, is A&E has a need for a couple more volunteers to serve on our committee. It's a pretty important committee. You gotta meet, we meet 2 times a month.
Get all your questions answered.
If you really want some enjoyment, come on in. I won't promise you a drink, but a drink of water you'll get, but it'll be worth your while. So
Probably one of the most important committees out here, as you can realize. When you drive around the lake and you see what's going on, and this committee, I want to say, has really worked hard to try and do their due diligence. They really try to watch everything that comes through that building. And as some people in the community know, there's conflicts. There's constantly conflicts on what precedents we follow, whether it's bylaws or covenants or what have you. And the A&E committee is the place to find your answers. And if you, I would really emphasize, you can learn a lot about what it should be if you don't already know construction. But we've got great guidelines in the A&E committee, And as long as they follow those guidelines to the T each time, we hope that we approve only the right issues that are brought in front of the committee, both on the docks and on the land. And, the first thing people do in the community when they see something is wonder how that happened. And a lot of times it happens because we make mistakes. And we need volunteers to help us to try and prevent those mistakes. But this committee has worked very hard. They've got good leadership. John has done a wonderful job as the liaison. And every time we hear something, we go out, they go out, and they look at it. And they try to make good decisions with the facts, not accusations, but with facts. And it's not an easy thing to do, especially when something like that occurs. When we have a problem, there's usually tempers involved because somebody thinks they're doing the right thing, and sometimes we don't catch it, and sometimes we do. Most of the times we do. We've got good guidelines now, and we're willing to learn even more as we move forward. It's a very important committee out here. I will suggest also that as you're driving around the community, we want these sites to be kept clean. We want them to have an outdoor lavatory at each one. We want there to be a dumpster or a trailer at each one daily, not once a week, daily, so that trash doesn't blow into somebody else's yard. If it's up on a hill, it has to have some sort of border so that the dust and drainage doesn't move off. So those are some guidelines. But as you see, it's rampant out there. There's a lot of building going on. So we need help. Thanks, John. Campground, Rick Stevens.
Campground has nothing to report this month.
Oh, no report. Okay. Cleanup, anyone? Yes, sir. Steve?
They wanted me to remind you that in May the 14th, which is next Saturday, they have the tox drop and the clean sweep. 8 to 2 will be the tox drop, and 8 to 11 other items such as mattresses, grills, and old lumber, etc. They'll have 3 dumpsters for trash and other items. They'll also have a truck trailer to take scrap metal. And they are asking for any volunteers to come forward and help. Be sure you bring gloves. And on a side note, they will have donuts for the volunteers.
Looks like you got a couple light up back there. Hey, Steve, is this is paints and oils and things like that?
Yeah, I think they have the oil drum emptied, and it will be for the oil too.
And go ahead, Tom.
Just one, I think, correction. The tox pick drop-off for toxic waste, paint, lacquer thinner, etc., is from 8 to 11.
8 to 11?
And the mattress and other items are from 8 to 2.
She had them backwards. Thank you.
No, just so anybody isn't disappointed, they have to be brought over to a disposal site before noon.
Do they take electronics also?
Yes,
Yes.
computers, televisions,
Okay.
the highlights, as soon as we get another copy, has an excellent article about what they take and what they don't take, and the cost
Okay.
for donation.
All right, thank you. Government Committee, Rick Olson.
Good evening. I attended 2 commissioners' meetings this month. Not a lot going on. The big one was last month. Of course, Jim Peck started on, I think, the 28th of April. He's the new county engineer and took over for Clint Maddox. He was filling in. He's going to go back to his old position, road foreman, as soon as Jim gets his feet under him. They talked about a proposal it's actually at the state level, because the county can't get their own road funds. They have to come from the state to tax quarries at a rate of 5 cents per ton for gravel. So that's, but again, that would be through our state representatives if you want to. I don't know, I mean, most of that gravel goes toward road building, so it seems like it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But Clint did say the weather was affecting the patching and grading of the roadways. They received 2 bids for the HMA road work, which includes Heritage Drive on the west side of the lake. Milestone was a low bid at 1.7 million. It was a little bit more than what they expected, of course. Like Dwayne said, everything is these days. So, so it's going to be, so Milestone will do that. And then there was a lady there talking about the READY grants, and they mentioned that the Conservancy was going to be getting a grant. I don't know any details, but we're in a region with, I believe, 6 counties, and our region got $20 million. So that'll be dispersed based on the need. But she's working with Kathy Deere at the Conservancy, and I'm sure they'll get it straightened out. I did correspond by email with Clint Maddox about a few things. Patching. He said that he tries to send a patching crew out here bi-monthly. Has anybody seen any patching so far this year? I'm asking. Have you seen some?
Not good patching, but they have been out here.
Okay.
Yes.
I seen them yesterday, they were putting.
They are starting to do
Yeah, they were putting some dry patch in some of the holes.
Okay. That's one of the conversations we'll have when, we meet with Jim and at some point. He said the county chip and seal season will start around the 1st of June and end in September. He said as soon as they know when they'll be in our area, they will let us know a couple of weeks in advance so we can let folks know. And the resurfacing, they don't have any idea yet when that will start because they just hired Milestone to do that. So that is my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Rick.
No problem.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anybody else?
Lake Committee.
Mr. Hoops, is that available again tonight? I think Deb sent you all the minutes. I hope you all received them this time. Okay, everybody shake your head. We went back to our regular 4th Wednesday of the month meeting. Kent was there. He opened the meeting at 7 o'clock. We had 12 regular members, and we had guests of Jerry Taylor and Paul Forbes. Charlie Lane reported there have been 2 bass tournaments to date, as well as the fun 2-day classic. He also reported the kids tournament will be held on June 12th. Hoops reported that we still have 9 new buoys, so we're not going to find them this year. And Mary Petruzzi discussed the Feast, Ski, and Fun. She says she required the band Frederick and Rhonda for the event, and it's going to be held on July the 23rd. Psalms has agreed to provide a limited menu of food at the event, as well as a special offer of a 12-pack of beer available at their restaurant over the weekend. The sponsors for the event will receive, in addition to the print recognition, complimentary ads in the Heritage Lake phone directory. I'm looking at Rick, he's not shaking his head. So.
Yes, he is.
The York Automotive Group has once agreed to be our title sponsor. We have new apparel items now available at the marina, and we'll have more coming in time for Memorial Day weekend. The committee also voted an additional $805 at our meeting to add to the $3,000 that we had already approved for the swim raft at the clubhouse. We went ahead and paid for it. It's been delivered. I don't know if it's out there yet or not. And most importantly, since the committee had a rather sizable balance in our funds recently, and that's mainly because the last 2 years the Feast, Ski, and Fun has been huge hits for us. Mr. Forbes made an appeal to the committee to see if we would support the new marina docks and the recently created parking lot. The motion was made to approve a $14,000 contribution, and it was approved. We moved to suspend the rules so we could do it and get a second vote. We've got that taken care of. So our total donation was at $16,000. So we do believe that we'll have another successful Peace Ski and Fun. That's hard to say. Again, this July. Kent brought up the question that in the 20 years we've been doing this, we've never had a rain out. You know, so the odds are against us. But then we just went on to forum. Tom asked a couple questions about life jackets on paddle boats. Roger Wright asked about kayakers, if they have to take the boat test. And finally, this Jerry Taylor who visited, he wanted to know about the lake's rules requiring a fire extinguisher on all boats with motors, including fishing boats. He indicated that the rules didn't match with the state rules. And Ken explained to him our situation, how we came to those conclusions and how we set it up. But Ken said he would talk to him and get back to him and do some research and go from there. So, and the meeting was adjourned at 8:30. Any questions? Yes.
You left out one item about the welder for the plastic welder for the marker buoys when they get clipped. We don't have to buy new ones because we can repair the old ones with this welder. And the Lake Committee gave $507 and change for that too. Yeah.
That's why he's our liaison.
Thank you, Jim, and let me publicly thank the Lake Committee for their generous donation. Unsolicited $2,000 a month or so ago, and highly solicited $14,000 this last month, and it is greatly, greatly appreciated by every member of this board that worked their tails off to raise $37,000. And thank you, all the board members. That was a great response, I think, for something that's needed and will be a plus for the community. And as I discuss these docks, let me just say it's kind of like the parking situation at the marina. We've got it. We're going to work with it. If there's any problems, we'll get them fixed. It's not it's not brain surgery, but we've never used them before. So we did our homework. We think we bought the right ones. We'll find out. We're going to go over there and starting in probably a week or so and park some boats and see how they go and move forward with it. If anybody has any suggestions after you park your boat there, just tell us. Clean water. Phil McKinley's not here. I'm sure that's probably no report right now. He did give a report last month. Long-term planning. Summer, do you have anything?
We met last month. We've been talking a lot about our emergency preparedness and coming up with a plan. And a lot of talking back and forth on what we do versus what the fire department does versus the CERT team versus the police. So instead of guessing, we decided that we're going to invite them in to our meetings and try to figure out what exactly their plans are and how we can help facilitate what they're doing. So next month we are inviting the fire department, I believe, and then the CERT team the following month, as long as they're able to come and give us their ideas in how we can help, instead of us coming up with something that doesn't match their plans. So
Great. Sounds like a great plan. Thanks, Summer. Siltation, Dwayne, you have anything?
Dwayne Kelly, 282 Patrick Landing. Start out, so I don't forget it, our next meeting is the 26th at 7 p.m. here in this building. Shannon completed and I hesitate to say clean out of the cove, because we don't necessarily clean out the whole cove. We clean out the infeed into the cove. We get the silt trapped there and get it out. It's not going to get out into the lake. So he did as we requested. He cleaned out cove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The coves start numbering at between the marina and Heritage Drive and go sequentially around the lake. So the first 6 coves on the northwest corner of the lake were cleaned out this summer. And now the most important thing that I have tonight is I have 2 young gentlemen that have completed 3 consecutive meetings and want to be appointed to the siltation committee. One of them is Jim Muehlmeyer. The other one is Chris Schubert. And I would appreciate it if the board would make them official members of the siltation committee.
I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Unanimous.
I've been wanting to do that for about 2 or 3 years.
I don't think I've ever been referred to as young.
Well, at least it's been a while, right?
I'm referring to you from my age.
Well, congratulations, Dwayne. I know you look forward to that.
And Jim?
Yeah? I'm not sure Jim looks forward to it, but congratulations, Jim.
Young Jim.
I do look forward to it.
Good.
It's a nice group of people.
All right. Election committee, anything?
Real quick, very rarely do we get to do anything in the middle of the year, but Ken asked us if we would put on a meet the sheriff candidates forum on April 28th. So we did that, and it was for the 3 gentlemen that were vying for the Republican nomination for Putnam County Sheriff. They were Jared Ball, Steve Hidler, and Dwight Simmons. The forum consisted basically of some opening statements by the candidates, question and answer period. We got some questions from the field, and we had closing statements. We had approximately 60 people there. It was live streamed on YouTube. May 3rd, Jared Ball won the nomination, so he'll be in the November election, but I don't think he's opposed right now, so he could be called our new sheriff. So that's where we are.
Thanks, Jim. You did a wonderful job with that. I was at that presentation. It really went well. I think the candidates were impressed with the questions and the audience's participation. All right. Takes us to the main event, manager's report.
I have been waiting to announce the completion of the storybook walk at the marina. We had 3 classes from Bainbridge Elementary that took a field trip to walk all 20 pedestals and enjoy and read. All pedestals are numbered, and the first one began at the playground. The library furnished all expenses, the Putnam County Library furnished all expenses for the material. We furnished the labor for installation. The library will swap out 4 to 5 stories throughout the warmer months. I hope you spend some time with the children and enjoy reading them all together. The floating docks appear to have been installed, and so far they look very nice. However, there is some hardware that is on order and to be able to complete the project. At this time, please do not attempt to park your boat there until notified or the caution tape has been removed. I placed some caution tape around the gangway. I was watching a lot of people walking across the riprap going on it. I just think it's, right now, it could be dangerous for somebody to trip on the rock and hurt themselves. So when we start the building of the dock from the gas pumps to the gangway, we'll start with the gangway first and work our way there, so it'll have something to set on. The dock extension connecting the gas pumps to the floating dock is underway. The pipes have been driven, and tomorrow we will be purchasing the material to begin building. We will do our best to have this project completed before Memorial Weekend. The pool has been de-winterized without any problems. Usually they find something wrong, what they did this year. The pool is scheduled for the first opening day of Friday, May 27th. All pool passes can be purchased on or after opening day at the pool. All prices are the same as last year. However, chemical prices have taken a huge jump in cost to operate the pool, and we'll do everything we can not to pass that on. So please buy a lot of cheeseburgers, sodas, and ice cream for the concession to help offset these increases. During a previous meeting, I had announced I researched the expense of a plastic welder to repair buoys that are cut up by boat props. The Lake Committee has purchased one of these for around $500 in hopes for a repair solution. We have repaired several buoys and it seems to be working very well. After making a couple more repairs, all buoys should be in place, so please avoid hitting them. There are no bonus points for running over a buoy. Finally, I spent the weekend and I went through our QuickBooks and I counted as of Friday, there were 201 members that have not paid their assessments for 2022. As of May 1st, the late fees have been added for the month of May. Late invoices have gone out in the mail last Thursday. Your assessments that once was $271 is now $299.28 per lot with the interest and late fees. If not paid by August 1st, your account will be turned over for collections with our attorney. So please do your part and get your assessments paid. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Okay, we move to old business. Start out with old business, Marina Dock parking.
So, after we found out that we have the docks all in, now I know this is a shameless plug on my part, but
It is a shame.
I had my sign made
I
first.
agree.
So, can we see that, Clint? Make sure you zoom in on the phone number. I'm just kidding. So this is what the people that are renting sign space, the largest, the $2,000 donations for each slip.
They're paying for a year of advertising.
So this is 1 year of advertising. Now this is a co-branded sign where Jake's company and my company, we split one because there was only one left and we both wanted it, so we each donated. But if you donated $2,000 and rented a space to advertise, you would have this entire board to put your advertising on. So we just wanted to give you kind of a preview of what it's going to look like so we can figure out how to get them on the dock and screwed on there and affixed on there. They are metal, so they can be reused on the other side next year if it's a new person. Or if it gets damaged in any way, we can flip them around. These are pretty resilient. I actually have these signs on the side of my dump trailer, and you know those take a beating. So they hold up pretty well from limbs and branches and other things hitting it. So I think boats bumping into it won't be too bad. Yeah, it's where they cut it, I think, on the bottom. And Tom with Hendricks Design is doing that work for us, and he's phenomenal at getting these out pretty fast. He had this drawn up and sent out last Tuesday. I sent him everything, and he had it by Thursday morning, had the sign back. So if we get all the graphics and the things everybody wants for all the donors, Psalms and everybody else who donated, we can get these together pretty fast.
Where are we on that?
Aren't we emailing to?
We asked people to email to HLPOA.
Is there a list of people that we still need to have them in?
I think we need to.
All of them.
Probably all of them.
So,
I think we just need to do a quick audit.
Yeah, we can check later.
can we get that audit done this week and maybe
Yeah.
figure out who's not in and when they're gonna be in? Get
Well-
dates from everybody?
Maybe before we leave tonight, I can go in there real quick and pull that list up.
Okay. So we're gonna get this week, we're gonna know what we need on the advertisements for the $2,000 spots and when those companies are gonna have that information to us, correct?
Yes,
And
correct.
then on the plaques, you have the number of plaques?
I have a number of names that will go on the plaques. So
Okay.
I just started researching what our options are,
Okay,
given the number of names.
okay, great. There, you know about the companies that we've used in the past for like plaques?
No, that's
that's a good source. I've been just Googling it and doing a little research that way, but if I could get those, that'd be great.
There's a place that I use at Greencastle called TaylorMade.
Okay.
There was a BC Awards in Brownsburg, but they recently went out of business. So if you've looked that up, it's probably still on the website or something, but they're out of business.
What's the name of the guy?
TaylorMade Awards, I think, or apparel or something like that. It's on the north end of Greencastle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got that, so we'll be able to get some type of idea of when that would, when we could get all that done.
I'll probably just go pay them a visit and help them with ideas, because
Okay.
I think we've got a total of, I think it was like 38 contributors.
Okay.
So it needs to be pretty good size.
There was somebody come in, Jim Pearsall come in and donated today, I believe.
Okay.
So we could maybe get, I would suggest probably 25% more than we've got as far as what it's gonna hold.
Yeah.
So if we had to add as we move forward.
Yep.
And then, I would think that we just keep in mind that it may change every year, or we could just add to it every year, I guess.
Yeah.
For those kind of donations.
The incremental donations that come in.
Uh-huh, yeah. Okay. It's probably most important for us to tie down the dates and for these big advertisers, so that so we're right on time with that. Once the docs are finished, we have that stuff ready to put on there.
Yeah, and I think that the advertising should just run like boat stickers. That would be my suggestion. So when your boat sticker is due to, you know what I mean, when it's up in
Oh,
was
you
it
mean
April
annually.
1st?
Gotcha. April 1st.
Like your ad will run till you buy a new boat sticker, kind of thing. So April 1st would be the switch over. So we'd contact everybody prior to April 1st. Okay, how many of you of the 12 want to keep on it? Give them a certain number of days, weeks to make their decision. And then April 1st, if there's any left, then we release those out to be bid on or whatever for other dock spots.
That okay with everybody?
I just figure if we gave kind of a deadline, then
Sure.
everybody would know every year what's going to happen.
I will tell you that Jason Hayes said that some of the hardware that we're waiting on, he was looking at 3 or 4 weeks. He told me over the weekend or Friday, that he's now looking at about 2 weeks to get that in. And that hardware is to hold those boards on that those go on to. So you're looking at probably 2 weeks before.
And we could keep that in mind when these advertisements go on this year. We can make the deadline April 1st for the decision. However, we could transfer the yearly date to whenever we start it this year, so that nobody gets cut off. Their money should take them 12 months.
Right.
So, and they're obviously gonna be advertising during the winter, because the boats aren't gonna be there, so their advertisement's gonna be shown. I would want the roadside advertisement if it was my company.
Will those come pre-piloted with holes?
No, but they're really, it's, the core in the middle is like a plastic, so it's sheeted on, I'll show you after. No, it does not have holes drilled in it, to answer your question directly. Yes, we can get a drill bit and just.
Any other questions on the boat docks from anybody? Everybody cool on that? Okay, we're coming up to the end here on the docks. Be nice to get it all done. Hopefully that hardware will come in next week. But like everything else, it's kind of tough to get things on time anymore. All right, A&E rules and fines. John Reedy.
Okay, just a little history. A&E had been working on establishing some rules, violations, and fines for people that do work out here in our community, and we have put together a list of violations fines to go with it that kind of mirror what Putnam County does in both in some of the violations and some of the fines as a model. We, as a board, have voted one time already at the last board meeting. And I would just want to ask the board if there's any more discussion that we need to have.
I guess I'll take a motion.
So move we accept the A&E rules as voted on last time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? And we'll get that as part of the minutes for the board meeting. We can put a copy of those rules and fines as part of the May board meeting minutes. Okay. New business. Floyd Fire Department has already given us the lift demonstration. Next thing on the new business is the media camera. For the board's information, we've discussed this briefly. You have all received the cost of having these meetings taped for the community. What I would suggest, we've had some discussion other than the full board. Ken and I and Rick have discussed on the sidelines here. And what we'd like to ask the board, if you would agree with us, the annual fee, if we do the board meetings and the ops meetings, is $56.88, and that's using Clint to come in and run these meetings every month. But what we talked about is possibly having Clint come in and taping the board meetings only. And the ops meetings will not be taped. However, there will be minutes every month. Those minutes will be published. My own feeling about that is ops meetings are designed to let the board talk about options for our agendas for the board meeting. I'm not necessarily sure that it needs to be taped for the community. Right now, the community watching the ops meetings is very, very low. Matter of fact, I think the one person just doesn't have anything to do. That's a joke. But I think in the past, the only ops meetings that I would probably concede that we should have taped is when we have a special guest using that time to demonstrate something to the board, that we could take the time to see what they're demonstrating and use that time between the ops meeting and the board meeting to digest that demonstration and then discuss it during the board meeting and vote on it if a vote is necessary. Other than that, I'm up for your suggestions, but.
Could I point out a couple things?
Sure, go ahead.
And maybe make a motion. First of all, anybody who has seen the video streaming that Clint has done for us for the past month or so, I think you must agree the video quality and audio quality is top-notch. Clint Hackelman is not just a Heritage Lake resident and a nice guy with a camera, but he's got an incredible amount of experience on his resume, including working in Hollywood as a videographer. So we've got somebody special doing this for us. And I think, when you look at the numbers that I've given you, that Clint gave me, the cost of purchasing just the equipment that he uses, depending on configuration, but it runs between $5,000 and $10,000. And the problem with any of those equipment purchase options is someone still needs to operate that equipment. Even with the old camera that was low quality, someone still had to set it up and make sure it worked, and it didn't work well most of the time. So, so we need someone to do it. And so the proposal that you have in front of you has two costs that we need approval for. One is an estimated one-time cost for Clint to purchase for us the equipment that is not easily rented, and the equipment that we should buy, have on hand at all times, that he can use when he sets up. That cost is estimated at $1,200. And then just the cost of Clint renting and operating the, to do the videography for us at each of our board meetings. That cost is $2,844 per year. And
With the rental.
with the rental equipment, yes. That's the operator cost and the equipment cost. So my request, my motion is that we approve both the $1,200 one-time expense and the $2,844 annual expense.
For just board meetings.
For
Can we have
just
some
board
discussion before we move to a
Well,
motion?
Sure.
We won't let one person talk before I don't want to vote on it. I mean, I guess I'll.
Well, that's the way it works, you know, you make a motion, you get a second, and then it's open for discussion.
Yeah. I would say that'd be the first thing I would think of,
Okay.
is the contract service.
Okay. All right, so let's, I'll hear the motion.
The motion is to purchase equipment at an estimated cost of $1,200 and budget $2,844 annually for the board meetings.
And so that you all know, before the second of that motion, we will be using contract services, a budget item, which is $22,000. We'll be taking the money out of that particular line item. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Okay, so I don't understand why we're paying $1,200 if the $2,844 covers the equipment rental and the production. Why are we buying a camera if he's gonna bring his own?
We're not buying cameras, we're buying assorted components that cannot be rented.
Like microphones,
Like
right?
microphones and cables and
So-
a few things.
So the
So the
$1,200
equipment rental,
covers,
so the equipment rental of a single camera solution, the 18, sorry, you don't have it broke down here, you just said 2844 all slapped together. So I'm gonna go with those numbers I can actually read. 1848 is renting just his camera.
It is renting, you see this setup that he's got back there?
Clint, can you maybe qualify this for us?
Sure, yeah, it includes the laptop that I'm using, the mixer that I'm using, the camera, tripod hardware, batteries, any kind of accessory that's used for actual recording. And then the items that I suggested for purchase, you guys don't have to purchase anything. You don't have to purchase anything. It just kind of saves you some money in the long term by owning things like a couple microphones, the stands that are sitting on your desks, maybe a tripod to keep on hand so I don't have to carry it in here every time. Stuff like that that can lower your your monthly cost without having to pay for it every time I bring it out here.
So if we don't pay the 1,200, then this 2844 is actually gonna go up some? Because you'd have to rent this stuff anyway?
Right.
Okay.
I think it adds around $22 to $30 on to the total rental cost.
Okay.
But the big one is if we can have a computer on site that is already set up for streaming, so I don't have to bring in one, that saves about $24 right there. That's the bulk of the cost, is just being able to bring in a powerful enough computer that can handle the streaming.
I just, as we all know that technology changes so rapidly, for us to buy something to use once a month, I mean, that's $100. If we're gonna break $1,200 down, it's $100 a month. And then at the end of the year, you're right, we do own everything, but if a battery goes out, or a mic stops working, or someone, you know, drops it on their way to put it away, that's on us to fix and replace. If Clint drops it on the way to his parking lot, I mean, I'm not trying to be cold-shouldered, I'm just saying, like, that's why you rent equipment, is so you don't have to take the liability of, oh, we can't find it, oh, someone forgot to charge the batteries. Like, we've had multiple times messing with that silly camera that wasn't charged and it wouldn't take a charge. I'm not in favor personally of that, because he does such a nice job. I'd rather pay him extra money, and all the liability of all this equipment is on him, and that he makes sure it's charged and it's here and it's ready to go, and he knows exactly how to operate it. If we buy something and we misplace it, or it disappears, or it doesn't get charged, then all of a sudden we're half producing the board meeting, and then he's trying to scramble around to figure out how to do that job. I just look at it, if the equipment's not your own equipment, it's a lot easier to just.
Point well taken.
So the cost would be about another $30 a month, right? And if you do the math, $1,200, $30 a month, that's $360 a year. You know, there's about a 3-year payback on that investment anyway. So,
I wish we
I
could
think
take the
you make
camera
sense.
and show
I think you make good
everyone
sense.
what you look like right now. Because compared to what we have done for years versus this
it's
is,
huge.
yes.
So is $30 a month enough if we do one meeting a month with your services? Is $30 a month added to the $2,844 enough without buying the $1,200?
That's fine. I would suggest that maybe just to warm things up, you could put together a $300 budget as a one-time purchase for anything that Rick and I think might be, like, for example, just having some tripods on hand to put a mic on, or those types of peripherals that aren't very expensive can be really nice to just have on hand. You don't have to have all the other equipment, whereas you know, there might be other uses for it if you want to use it all the time, but it's not super critical that you rush out and purchase any of this stuff. I'll suggest to you guys, you know, if there's something that is really critical comes up, then I'll suggest, hey, you guys should just pay a couple $100 to get this. Especially if it's something I don't use anywhere else. You know, it's kind of expensive for me to buy, you know, in the $300 to $500 range, exclusive for on-site use here.
Yeah, I can see some of that. I can go for that. I'm just seeing seeing all the trouble and heartache we had with that last setup, with Summer having to mess with everything and Grant having to mess with something, and we had to plug stuff in and it wasn't charged and we couldn't record things. It was just a pain in the ass, to be honest. So, like, I would be okay to buy tripods and things like that are kind of hardware-ish more than technology stuff.
Does anybody else have any input?
I just
Thank you,
really,
AJ.
I just really appreciate him. I really appreciate him and all that he has done, because
Absolutely.
it's
Changed everything.
it really has.
It really has helped.
Yes.
Clint, obviously we're talking about just operation, board meetings. In the event we need to have an operation meeting taped, what can you estimate that's gonna cost us? Because that's gonna be the one-off when.
Is it just another
when we need-
session?
$237.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so 237.
Yeah.
Do you have a backup, as in, like, you're not available and we need something taped?
So that's one of the benefits of having the redundancy of some more of the equipment on site. Like if I'm in Florida or something and I'm bringing some of my equipment with me, it might not be available.
Okay.
That's one of the redundancies that I have with having more hardware on site.
Okay.
But otherwise, my thought is that I'll probably train Rick to be able to push a couple buttons to do a very basic, turn it on, press a button. It won't be fancy, but it could at least get you through a live stream if I was sick or out of town. But I'll try not to schedule anything on those dates that we've arranged already.
Thank you. I'm hearing some good input.
So we're talking
I think-
32,000.
Well, right now we're talking 2874, okay? Right now, we're talking 2874. For the person that's going to raise this motion, let's use that figure as a voting figure. And I think the $300 for equipment that would be necessary in Clint's view to have on site can be a decision made by our manager. But I think for practical purposes tonight, maybe we could just vote on the 2874.
No, I think
Hold
it's
on.
32 per time.
Yeah, 3204. So I would modify my motion.
Okay.
204, I'm sorry.
To approve.
3204.
I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would modify my motion to use the number 300 for a miscellaneous equipment budget and $3,204 for the annual board meeting screening budget.
A second.
Any more discussion? Hold on just a second. See if I have any more discussion. I don't.
Just to add in as well, and I discussed this with Rick, but when you guys are paying for the rental equipment from me, I'm gonna bring in whatever you need, and it's probably gonna be more than what you need. So when you have a Meet the Sheriff event, or you wanna do something for a charity or donation event, I'm gonna bring out the equipment that you need. I'm not gonna charge you extra for that. So if we need 2 cameras, if we need wireless camera, if we need to shoot outdoors for something, I'm going to bring that equipment in for you. That's not something you get if you purchase all the equipment. But I like to use the best of what I think I have available that works best for that specific job. And since most of the meetings aren't here, we'll have the same setup. But I just kind of foresee, like with the Meet the Sheriff event, that there are going to be times in the future where this one camera isn't going to be enough. So I just want to let you know that when those events do come up, that I'll be providing additional cameras and equipment as needed as part of the rental agreement.
Thank you for that.
Clint, how long have you live here at the lake? How long have you lived here?
Since 2014.
Okay. What would happen if Hollywood gave you a call and gave you a deal you couldn't refuse?
I don't think I'm going anywhere. My wife likes it here.
Okay. Well, money talks. I'm just concerned that if something like that would happen, we would be sitting there holding some equipment that we wouldn't know what to do with. That's a good point.
Well, I can tell you though, that at least 2 of the three equipment solutions he has used here, I have the entire equipment list. We could be independent anytime we choose to be.
Yeah, and if you choose to buy equipment, one day you say, hey, I want to set up over here that's got a red button on it, you press, and it goes live. I can set that up for you and make it easier. It's just everything comes at a cost, with owning the equipment and having somebody that can configure it. But I have a setup over at Canaan Church that is just like that. And when I'm sick or I'm not available, I can send them a picture. Here's the red button. Press this and press this. And they may not be able to change the camera around or make sure the microphones are picking up perfectly, but at least they have something going in an emergency.
Okay? Everybody satisfied? It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you, Rick, for all your work on this, and thank you, Clint. All right, now we move on to A&E
It only needs 1 vote, right, since it's already.
JV 92 variance. Let me start out by saying the people that are applying for a variance could not make the meeting. And so that all disclosures are out there, this has been a subject that has been talked about extensively for the last few weeks. This particular variance, they applied for a variance, and I guess we could read the variance itself. They have applied for a variance because they built a covered dock, and there's some explanation that we've gone through with the board. We had a meeting last week, and we extensively looked through every fact that we know that is pertinent to this particular dock. There was misunderstandings, according to the owners, on what they were signing, and there were not so many misunderstandings according to the A&E committee. We've listened to everybody's side on this. The board has received all the information, and so we are here tonight to vote for this variance application. And once the variance vote is in, then we'll move forward. Should we, the information we have is extensive. I don't think there's a need for us to go through unless a board member feels that we need to go through that. Each board member has received everything involving 92 JV and their variance, including the language from the A&E committee on the variance and the language from the owners on the variance. And we have discussed it at great length, all the pertinent information. So unless any of the board members tonight have anything to discuss that might give us some more information than what we already have, I would suggest that we move forward with a vote. Is there anybody on the board that is not comfortable moving forward on a vote for this variance? Okay. I will take a motion then on the, do I need a motion on the variance, or are we just voting on the variance?
I think just vote.
Okay. Okay. The variance application for 92 JV concerning a covered dock is now up for a vote. All those in favor of issuing the variance signify by raising your hand. All those in favor of denying the variance signify by raising your hand. Okay, the board has unanimously voted not to give the variance. At this point, there will be a letter sent to the owners of 92 JV refusing the variance, and Ken and I will make that happen this week. Through this process, I just want to add my own, I spent a lot of time with the A&E committee, and John spent a lot of time with the A&E committee, and I've spent a lot of time out in the community at different, battles over what's supposed to be and what shouldn't be. And through this process, we not only discussed it intensely with each of us, but we brought the people in and talked to them in person. And we got their side to this proposed variance at the time. Once we had the initial meeting with them and we went through everything we could possibly go through, we suggested to them that they apply for a variance. There was a time lapse in when they started their project to now, and that is one of their issues with this whole process. I would like to emphasize to anybody out there that's going to build a house remodel a dock, whatever you want to do, your first step is with the A&E committee. And I would suggest that you completely understand what you get from the A&E committee on the acceptance of your plans and the rules that are stated in the A&E rule book. And those are probably very pertinent facts in this particular case because those rules are in there. It is not up to the A&E committee to watch every day when you're building your house or your dock or whatever you're doing. You have been approved on how you should build it and how you're able to do that. If it's misunderstood, okay. We move forward, we figure out the facts, and we make a decision. I also want to emphasize that we're all volunteers. We try to do the best we can. We don't get paid. The A&E committee doesn't get paid. We try our best, and we try with the best integrity that we have through every person that works these problems out. And so please do your homework and ask a lot of questions before you do your project, because it's no fun. And I'll tell you, this A&E committee has been involved with situations where we've made mistakes, and we've paid for it. And we've corrected those mistakes, but we've paid for it, both monetarily and, emotionally, and time, and effort. Nobody likes to tell somebody they can't do something, but the rules are there. I hope we get this resolved, and I hope everything goes smoothly.
Paul?
Yes.
I think it's also important to add that, the variance, which is really asking for an exception to the rule, is a major issue. But the board has also had at least one instance, and there may be more, where a resident out here has said, hey, if they can do it, why can't I? So it's as much about the precedent that you're establishing as it is the variance itself.
That's a great point. And, not only in this issue, but other issues that have come up. Specific board members have been asked by community members, why couldn't I do that when I built mine? And it's a good question to ask. And
May I?
Yes, go ahead.
I think in reviewing the documents associated with this variance, the property owners, one of their points of contention was, nobody cares, nobody minds it, no one's bothered by it. And that may be their perspective, but as a perspective of a community member with my voice to the ground, and it is my responsibility as a voted board member to listen to what the community has to say. I have personally fielded many questions about that dock, about the construction of that dock. And so while I feel that the property owners feel as though their perspective is that no other property owners mind, this is just the A&E or the board being vindictive, or I don't know what they think we're doing, settling them out for not following the rules. It has affected the community and the cohesion within this community.
And it's not personal. It's in no way personal. It's just
Not
it's
at
a
all.
rule.
I think one of the other points that we should bring, thank you for bringing that up, I neglected to, I know we talked about it. One of the other points that we should bring up also is that if you're beginning the process and your head set on doing something that is not part of the guidelines out at Heritage Lake, that's the time to see if you can get a variance. That's the time to see if you can change it, because your specific situation warrants the fact that you should be able to do it, and not after you do it. So at least that's the way I look at it. And at least this year, that's pretty important, the way I look at things. Maybe next year it won't be. The board seems to be very together on this. We had some great discussions, and I thank you all for your participation in this issue. It was a tough one. Thank you. All right, and we finally get to your part, open forum. Does anybody here have anything? I know Tom does. Go for it, Tom.
Yeah, I'm Tom Novak, 25 Mill Springs. I'd just like to remind everyone regarding our upcoming Heritage Lake Blood Drive. It will be June 1st, which is a Wednesday, from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. There are 2 ways that you could register. One of the ways would be to go to the redcrossblood.org. You enter Heritage Lake, all one word, and that will take you to your registration area. The other way, the simpler way, is all you have to do is call Marianne Novak. Her phone number is area code 765-386-2077. She'll be more than happy to set you up with an appointment time. And just remember, for every pint of blood we get donated, we save 3 lives. 3 lives for every pint of blood. Any questions? Anybody in the audience can also sign in the sheet tonight, and Marianne will call you with an appointment time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Rich Moss, JB 259. On this fine you're gonna do, are you gonna have a paper out for everybody, or so everybody knows what it is?
We will, as, you can pick one up at the office if you'd like one. Basically, these fines will be given, these rules and fines will be given to every builder and every owner that submits an application to the A&E for anything.
Oh, okay. Then just a couple little questions.
It's not like, it's not something that's gonna be, I mean, if you broke this rule a year ago, it's not gonna pertain to you.
No.
It's all future. Go ahead.
Just, are you gonna be sending, is it gonna be through a letter? Is it gonna be sent to the builder and the owner so they know what's going on?
I'll be at the meeting.
That packet's gonna be handed out at the A&E meeting, it's gonna say here.
You're talking about a fine.
I'm saying, if you get a warning, say someone's all right, you got a warning, is that warning letter going to the homeowner and the builder? Because maybe the homeowner, if they both don't get it?
I'm sure that, yes, they are. The builder and the homeowner is gonna get the notification that they are not following, they are breaking a rule. Yes.
And then, how long you got, like, say if you broke a rule.
The rules are all, it says in these how long you have to fix the problem.
Okay, so we get that, okay.
Yeah.
Now, another little quick one here, we were sitting there talking. I didn't see nothing, I was trying to figure it out. How big a fire pit can we build? And how far away a building does it have to be away from?
There's nothing in our rules stating that. If you're concerned of it, that may be a good fire department question.
Well, I thought I'd bring it here first. I was gonna ask the fire department, I thought, well, you probably already got something.
No, there's nothing in the rule books.
Don't build a pit underneath a tree. I'll just say that.
What I've come up with, what I've looked at, and I've seen anywhere between, have to be from 15 feet away to 25 feet away.
I think it's up to your safety. I don't think we don't have any rules for that.
We don't. There may be a state code.
Yeah, I think there's a state code.
But there.
No, that's the only thing I was trying to figure out. I don't want to put a fire pit together and find out, no, you can't do that. Now, do we have to have permit to build a fire pit?
No.
No.
Okay.
Don't put it on your deck.
I'll finish that up on a credit card.
All right, Richard.
That's all I need, thank you.
Richard, if we can't get you that answer, I can get you in touch with Jeff Brooks. He should be able to answer that question for you.
That's fine, I just didn't want to build something and say, man, you got to move that 3 foot.
Oh.
Right, the IDEM website, the Indiana Department of Emergency Management, did I get that correct? They have an open burning page, which talks about what is illegal to burn, what can be burned, and the
For
different
Putnam County?
policies for the state of Indiana.
Okay. I know sometimes counties throw in stuff, so.
She'll give you the URL after the meeting.
Huh?
She'll give you the URL after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can write that down for you.
Anybody else? Thanks, Richard. All right, I'll take a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
See you later, bye.
All right, short executive meeting.